Hi all, welcome to Spring Framework tutorial series for absolute beginner. So this is the fifth video of Spring Framework where we will be understanding the concept of injecting object. So what we will be covering? So we will be having a class and which have the dependencies. So assume the class is as a dinners and dinner we have a dependency called fish non-veg object. So we'll be injecting this dependency on the dinner class using the concept of setter dependency injection, and we'll be using XML file here. So and later I will introduce the ref keyword in the beans.xml file. So project structure will be looks like this in the right hand side. So there will be a 2-3 few classes. There will be a beans.xml file where all the XML configuration will be there. That pom.xml file where all the Spring core or the Spring context related dependencies will be there. So let's get started. Before going ahead with the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel to get videos on Spring Boot, microservices, Spring Framework, REST API, and Java. So before moving ahead with injecting object episode number 5, it is suggested to have understanding on IoC container and dependency injection using setter method, dependency injection using constructor method. So it is suggested to watch this 3 video, or if you have already understanding of those IoC container and setter injection, constructor injection using like for the literal type of fields, so that's great. But in this video we will be focusing on injecting object type of fields, and literal type of fields we already done in the previous video. So I will open IntelliJ. So I will create a project called injecting object. So I'll do the right click and new, then module. I give it as name as injecting object. Then Maven as a build type, Java 17, and I will give the group ID as com.deep developer dot injecting objects. So I'll create that. So it will generate one pom.xml file and it will follow the Maven structure as a build system. So as you can see, there is one pom.xml file is being generated and main class has been created. Our task is that, so as I shown you, we'll be having, sorry, so as I shown you, we will be having one dinner class which have some primitive data types and some object or class variables. So let me create a class called dinner and having those fields. So I'll go to this and right click new called dinner. So yeah, so dinner. So as I mentioned, dinner have the dependency called fish non-veg. Means if I want to have a dinner, in the dinner I can have veg, non-veg, some other things. So I'll be, so those are the dependencies. And for the dinner we'll be going some restaurant and we'll be book some table number. So that was the like dependencies or called the fields. So I'll create primitive fields first. So private int table number. So that was primitive type of fields or called the literal fields. And there will be a class type of fields as well. So I'll give it as name as fish non-veg and name is fish non-veg. So I will create a class called fish non-veg. So let me create a class called fish non-veg. I will click the name, do the right click, go to this class. So this class we can have a method called like having like having dinner or something called having fish, we can do that. Void public having fish, or we can do it as having non-veg. We are having fish. So now we'll go to this dinner class. So these two fields are created. So I'll do generate the setter for these two fields. One is for the literal type of fields, and another is for the what is called the object type of fields, or called the class type of fields. I will go there, generate and setter method. And why we are generating the setter method? So you can go and watch the videos for the setter injection, dependency injection using setter method. That video I have explained uh, clearly, but just to give an overview. So doing this, we'll be using the properties tag, so that our beans or the Spring framework inject those type of dependency to our applications. So that is the main purpose. So, and let's assume the dinner have what is called the method called having dinner. So public void having dinner, this out, or we can do as having dinner, and we can call the fish non-veg and having non-veg, and also we'll print the statement called our table number is, so table number. So all the things has been implemented. I will first show you what are like basic things we did in our college life. Then I will create the beans.xml file, and I will inject those, and I will be using IOC container, that application context, to get the beans. So those type of things I will create. Let me go to this main dot class. So I'll be creating a dinner object as well as the fish non-veg object. Dinner, new dinner, fish non-veg, new fish non-veg object. So in this dinner, di dinner, we have to set the table number. So I'm setting table number as 101. So sorry, it's why it is going error. It's as int type. And the dinner, we need to set there's other field is there na, set what is that, fish non-veg class. So I will set that, and I will get the details of dinner using the method called having dinner, right? So this is the this is we are statically, or we are like manually creating the variables and passing those value. We are creating the new. So that means we are manually passing the value. Okay. So that is not the approach in the real life application or the real time application. So here I will be creating a beans.xml file. You can watch the previous videos of like Spring framework tutorial to get more understanding. Okay, so I'll just create a beans.xml file. In the previous video, I have created a, lot of beans.xml file. I'll copy one from them. Go to this main resource, and the beans.xml file should be present on the resource folder as per the Maven project structure. So I will just remove this, And also as we are using getting the properties from the beans and it is a Spring Boot application, sorry, Spring framework project, so there will be dependency called the Spring core and the Spring context. I will add those dependency as well. Or if you can directly like download the jar file of the Spring framework, and here I am using the Spring framework 6.1.30, that is the latest version. So I reload this. Later it will import the dependency. So I will go to this main class, and as I said, this type of things will be done by Spring framework. So I will just comment this. So we will not create any object, or we will not set any value, or we will not inject any value. Those things will be done by the Spring framework. So I will just move to this bin.xml file here. So if from this structure we see that we need to like Spring will create a dinner bin having those type of attributes. So let me create a bin. So bin have id. So what is that id name? Dinner object. We can keep it as id name dinner object. Class name is, we'll copy this package name dot dinner. That is the class name, package name dot dinner, and we will close the bins. And these bins have the dependency called the table number and fish non-veg. So we'll just inject those dependencies from here. So for that we need to have properties tag. So properties tag, what is that? Fields table number, right? So this is the literal type of field. So table number we can pass value as like 200, and this is another property is there, right? And its name is fish non-veg. So I'll paste that as well. And this property is of which type? Is of bins type, means object type. So for that, or it is, we can assume it as an, not assume it, it is the inner bin, this is the outer bin, this is the outer things, and inside this dinner there is a fish non-veg class is there. So this is the inner bin. So for creation of the inner bins, so we'll use the tag called bin and class. This is the same class dot, it is non-veg, fish non-veg. If you are still watching the video, I will request you please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and if you have any issues you can ask on the comment section. So what is that? Fish non-veg. So why I'm not passing any ID? Because this is the inner bins. So within this dinner object, so on this dinner object only we can fetch that. So there is no need to pass any ID. So I'll go to this. So all these fields are being added, and Spring IoC will fetch or load the bins.xml file, and it will create all the bins. Bins is here means the object. It will create all the bins and it will store in the IoC container, and IoC container will be using as an application context. So I'll go to this main class. Let me quickly. So application context dot get bins. What is our bins name? So bins name is dinner object. This is the name of the bin. So I look, and this is of which type? Bin is of which type? You can see that it is of dinner class type. So I will do this dinner dot class. Okay, so I will store this in a variable called dinner. Now I run the application and I will see that whether we got this table name and the fish, what is that, this output is printed or not. Let me run the application. So now we see that details has been printed. So we are having fish, having dinner. Our table number is 200. So if you go to this, having dinner, this having non-veg. So all these details are being printed uh, perfectly. So now we have achieved the injecting object type of fields in a class using beans IOC container or the Spring IOC container. So that is one of the part. And there is a next there will be one issue is there, so I will explain that also. Let me create one more class similar to dinner. So for example, we are going for lunch, and on lunch also we will be having what is that, we will be having fish non-veg. So I'll create that class called lunch. So on this lunch also will be having like private fish non-veg. I will just give it as a name as fish. Like I will get to know on the like next video where will be I'll be explaining the loose coupling, and there will be get better understanding. And in the coming video will be I will be explaining you the auto-add annotations by type, by name, those type of attributes to inject to inject the class type of dependency or the object type of dependency. So please subscribe to the channel to to get more understanding on this. So I'll just create any name called fish, then I will generate a setter method. For that setter method is generated, then I'll be creating a what is that method called having lunch, and I'll be calling that method from the fish class. So public void having lunch, lunch, having lunch, and I'll be doing fish dot having non-veg and sys out having lunch. So there is a one issue on doing that. I'll explain you that, and if you have clearly guessed, uh, uh, that issue will be in this beam dot. So there is another object, right, for the dinner. What is that? For the lunch object, I'll create that, and I'll lunch object, and it is from which class? Lunch class. And lunch object don't have any like table number. I did not put any. So and the property, what is the property name for this lunch? This is the fish, just fish. So I will copy this. So, so if you observe this, I will. So if you observe this, what you are able to understand? Let me know by doing this. Yes, you guess correct. So doing this, there will be a two object created for dinner object and lunch object. Along with these two objects, there will be two other different objects, like fish non-veg object will be created and the fish object will be created. So the fish non-veg object will be created two times. So why it is creating two times? Is it creating two times? Let me show you that. So before that, I will go to this fish non-veg class. I will just create an constructor out object created. Better I will say as beans, for function name beans created. UBLIC. I'll go to this main class, and I'll copy this, and we are having lunch, right? Lunch class, lunch variable, and what is that name is that object name is lunch object, and it is of lunch type, right? Lunch object, right? If you go to this beans.xml file, it's a lunch object. So I'll run the application. I'll show you what are the issue. I have already explained that what are the issue. Then I'll resolve that issue using the ref keyword reference attributes in the beans.xml file. I'll run the application first. So we see that fish non-veg beans is created two times, and we are like getting the details as having dinner. And why we are not getting the details as having what is that, having lunch? Because if we go to this main dot files, and we did not call that lunch method, so it is having lunch. So let me run the application. So now on the having lunch, and we are having fish from the lunch variable, it has been printed fine. So but if you observe that this the two bins are created for the similar what is that for the similar class. So if it have like fish non-veg is used for thousands or lakhs of in the class, so for thousands of object will be created. So that doing that, it does not means that the Spring is creating a lightweight application. Not the Spring, we are creating the lightweight application. The Spring provide the features to create the lightweight application, but we are not using that features. To use that features, I will be creating only once a reference variable, or once reference object for this fish non-veg. Like that object will be created, and that reference will be used by like thousands or lakhs of classes, other classes. So to do that, I'll be just comment this beans. So this is the inner beans. So I'll create a simple outer beans. I'll be creating simple outer beans for fish non-veg, and its ID I'll be mention as fish non-veg, fish non-veg object. And this like in this property we are internally doing creating the beans, but now we will not create, we will be using attributes called reference, and we'll pass the reference called fish non-veg, and here also will be pass the reference called fish non-veg. And now previously we observed that fish non-veg bean is created two times. Now it will be created for one time, because in the outer bin we have created only one bin, and we are passing the reference for the other classes. So let me run the application. Uh, Doing this means we are creating a lightweight application that Spring provided. Yeah. Oh, did you observe like a fish non-veg bin is created for the one times with other details are being printed. So like we are using the lot of beans and creating. So in my coming videos, I will be using some annotation called the auto add, and some annotation called the configuration, that components can lot of annotation we'll be using, and will be remove completely this beans.xml file. There will be no beans.xml file which is used in, like real life or the standard life of applications. Like for the old application, they are there, like XML files are there, but in the recent applications, like lots of organization are did not use, like they use less like XML configuration. Mostly they do the Java side type of configuration. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any query, and you can ask on the comment section, and it is the request to provide any feedback, or let me know in which topic you want video, so that I can create that for you. So again, thank you for watching the video.